from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? Today on the New American Perspective, we're cutting through the noise. Candace Owens is back in the headlines after exposure claims involving the government and Charlie Kirk, now saying she's alive and standing firm. Was that smart or strategic silence coming next? A deadly shooting at Brown University raises serious questions. What did authorities know and when? Hollywood is eerily quiet after the shocking deaths connected to Rob Reiner's family. Was his rage drugs, mental health, or is there another narrative nobody wants to explore? Meanwhile, 50 Cent is shocking the industry yet again, calling out abuse, clapping back at rappers, and cashing in on the Diddy documentary. Is he protecting women or burning bridges? From hip-hop conspiracies to power, silence, and accountability, are people finally telling on themselves? And in Washington, millions may see healthcare premiums explode as Democrats and Republicans prepare for political war. This isn't gossip, it's culture, power, and consequence. Let's get into it with my host here, A.B. Butler. How are you, cousin, today in the mix on this New American Wednesday? Let's G-check this stuff.
Listen, I'm a G-checking. I'm here. I'm healthy. I'm fighting to get back to 1,000%. Rest in peace to everybody we losing out here in the world. So let's save the rest of the world. That's a
I like
G-check.
that. This is a G-check. So what is, what is happening? What do you think that we should dive into first? Candace Owens, 50 Cent, where are we going? What caught your ears first?
Listen, what caught my ear is Hollywood. You know, the Hollywood world, underground world. It's like, you know, shout out to his family, rest in peace to the legendary BX cat, you know. Shout out to BX. That's what we create. BX Mount Vernon 914. But it's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world today. I really don't think it was no drug related. I think it was Hollywood related.
Right. What's that? The death of Rob Reiner you're talking about?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah, so no, I think too. I think that that's something that we have to really get into today. I'm pulling up some stuff as you talk, but I think that's what we have to get into because I think there might be another story. They're going now mental health on him, but I think there might be another story attached to that we need to look at, and we need to go over what are the possibilities, because again, remember, you're innocent until proven guilty. Are we that place in America, or are we lying to ourselves and saying that we're guilty until proven innocent? Because the way that it seems to me right now is that the man is guilty. You know,
Exactly.
and nobody is, you know.
This is a G check. We always guilty. You know, as soon as it don't work the way the TV wanted to work and the people, we always found guilty. And me, I got a big thing on because something go on, you change your life if something go wrong. Why are we so quick to go back to, oh, he was a convict. Oh, he did this, he did that. But do we ever go back to what happened to the black young dudes that got hung and this and that? We don't go back to all that, what they did back in the days.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know,
Well, no,
but
we don't, and they don't want us to go back. When we go back
exactly.
to that, they say, you know, you guys can go ahead and get over that right now, because they don't have answers. Most people don't have answers for that, and that's what we're talking about with but with reparations. I can't even say the word no more.
Reparations.
Reparations. We need reparations. So let's talk about it, because today's show is not about gossip. It's about power, silence, narrative control, and accountability across media, culture, politics, and hip hop. There are moments when the official story starts to crack, and instead of answers, we get the silence. And today is one of those moments. We're going to get into it. So let's start with Candace Owens. You know your girl Candace Owens, right, cousin?
Candace love me.
Yeah, Candace love you. You have to tell us about that little Candace story. After making the explosive claims, including the government killed Charlie Kirk, she said the government was behind Charlie Kirk. Candace Owens went to meet with Charlie Kirk's widowed wife, and she
Mm-hmm.
came back out and she said, "I'm alive." Now, the question isn't whether she's alive. The question is why she had to say that, right? Was that wise? Was it strategic? Or was it forced silence was no longer an option?
It's a G check, cuz we people it's on here watching me and my lovely cousin Jineea Butler. But at the end of the day, you look at this, what's going on in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
They show us movies. Movies just ain't gonna pop up in the head about murder, UFOs, and all this, what's going on. But they show you like the president movies, the governor movies. They show you what really happens. They always got the underground hitters. The underground, the people that say been missing for years, this and that. Those are underground hitters. So
Mm-hmm.
when they want to shut somebody, correct them, they wind up in a situation dead, uh, allegedly suicide.
Now, let me
But
just say, for the people just tuning in, let me give them a little backup on the turning point and how Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk intersect. In the turning point, USA was where Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, they married themselves. They married to Turning Point, and so Candace and Charlie built that together. Then
mm-hmm.
all of a sudden there was a rift in that. Candace got married, Charlie got married. Turning Point is the next thing. They helped the president get in. Candace no longer is down with Trump and down with Israel and down with a lot of stuff. She went her way. She got fired off of many platforms and they pushed her out, and she went and stand on her own. She knows Charlie. She's got the inside stuff. She knew that stuff. So now when they killed Charlie Kirk, they say, "Oh no, this was a lone gunman," and everything like that. And Candace was like, "Oh no, that's my friend. I'm supposed to stand up for my friend." So now, is she wrong for standing for her friend, even though the wife is saying stop? Is she wrong?
A G check, she never wrong, But you know why they say she wrong? Because the truth really hurt American. The truth
Right.
really hurt. They don't want to hear the truth. They rather hear the fluff story. They rather go with that than the truth, because the truth is too hard for them, and they rather keep the fluff out here than rather the truth. Just like when somebody tell a man or a woman, the truth will set you free.
That's a
But
fact. That's in the Bible.
these days, the truth will set you. It definitely will set you underground.
Well,
That's
you
a
saying
G
that
check.
you going 6 feet if you tell the truth out here. You
Exactly.
know,
One
because
way or another.
I'm wondering if Candace can walk the streets. Do people know where she's at? Can she be free about her movement? I say no.
No, she can't be. The G check is Big Bro got cameras everywhere. We see this all day on TV before they started camera the world. Right now, the world is monetized. It don't matter what you do, how you do. You think you doing it this way. No, Big Bro got cameras on everything, on your
Yeah,
phone, your
yeah.
computer, your
Looking right at you.
bathroom, everything. They might got computers on your shoes. Yeah,
They got chips and everything everywhere.
yeah.
So
That's a
when
G
someone
check.
makes claims that shakes institutions, like Candace just did, the response is usually one of two things: total amplification or total erasure. So you're right in saying that we got to watch Candace, but I think Candace is going to go ahead and lay low. She's going to go ahead and film from the bunker and talk her stuff from there. But I'm worried about her because, car accidents, all this stuff begins to happen when people start talking less. Now, I think after what went on, that she's not going to be pressing this, because she said that she told them all about everything that she knows and opened her eyes, but they're still not going to want to bring this to the forefront. Nobody is going to, the government is not going to let you take it out. You know what I'm
But you
saying?
know, but you gonna hear that 20 years from now. Our kids will know about what happened.
Right.
Just like 9/11. 9/11. Everybody think it was somebody overseas, but nah, it was right
And
over
we're
here. The
starting to
Bush
now
family.
see
Yeah, it's the
20
Bush
plus
family.
years
Yeah,
later,
yeah,
when people die and can't go to jail,
yeah,
what's really happening. And
yeah.
so what we're watching right now is something in between all that. So we'll keep you updated here on the New American Perspective and your G check on that. Now let's move to the Brown University shooting. Did you hear about
Mm.
this, cousin?
Oh, yes, I
So
did.
so we are being told very little, and when the information is thin, questions matter even more. Did the shooter attend the university? Because that's what it's looking like. They scrubbed a lot of the stuff. So now we're looking at this. They didn't scrub a lot of the information of who this shooter might be, and they took it out. Was there prior knowledge? So they saying that this person that went to the university was talking Palestinian stuff. He was talking anti-Jewish. Should authorities have been alerted earlier? And if so, who made the call not to act? And so that's where we're at. Institutions protect themselves first, and that's not speculation, that's history. Now, Brown University gets a lot of money from a lot of donors, and I'm sure a lot of Jewish donors. Now, we're getting off a bad start to Hanukkah this year, and shout out to all of the Jewish people that are celebrating Hanukkah right now and going through all of this tragedy and feeling some type of way, because we in the Black community know how you feel. You know what I'm saying, cousin? We know how you feel when you are going through stuff, so we're not going to be insensitive to it. But we have to worry about what's happening over there at Brown University, because they had a shooter. Now they got this guy walking around the streets. And like you said, you can't walk down any street. And my question is, today, the people that are doing crime, do they realize that somebody got a camera of them going somewhere, that somebody, you got caught somewhere in the action of going to where that, do people understand that, or are they just now breaking that part down?
Now, this is a G check. This is what I realized. With the cameras that Uncle Sam and the brothers looking, they'll show you what they want to show you. Then when they don't want you to see something, they erase it. But this is what I don't understand. It's so much killing going on, but they could stop these young drug dealers, lock them up, give them life. But why it's so hard for them to correct these problems? So let me say this to the president, to the world, right? We've been seeing this back to back, back to back, back to back, right? These high schools, these middle schools, these elementary school, and y'all telling me right now that y'all got all these high people in these positions where it's keep happening. So what y'all do is say y'all was watching the person, but y'all was just gonna wait till it happened. No.
Right.
Why do y'all wait when y'all know it's gonna happen? Because at the end of the day, let's look at it this way. They're a part of it. They're part of it. Then they come in when they feel it's enough and killed a couple of people because you got to remember that the earth is too many people on earth. So what we got to do is destroy some. And I just had this conversation with somebody where with the AIDS, with the heart attacks, with the cholesterol, with the heart attacks with the brain, everything. And we can't find a problem for that, but we can find a problem for everything else.
You mean a solution? You saying
We,
that we
yes,
can find a
yes,
solution for?
yeah, we can find a solution for everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all want to keep just draining people. And it's like, whatever you do, people, this is a big G check. You think you killing the black and the brown off, but you really killing your people off too, because you remember this. Whatever affect us gonna affect y'all. It's just a matter
Mm,
of time.
mm.
Always
And that
remember that. That's
that's
a
a
G
G
check.
check. And so we'll be right back here on the Millennium News 24 with the New American Perspective. And I'm your host, Jineea Butler, and that's my co-host, AB
AB
Butler.
Butler,
And
G
we in the
check.
mix here on Millennium News 24. We'll be right back. And we are back here
Back.
on Millennium News 24, and we're talking about it today. And we've got so much to get into this 1 hour special Wednesday. And let me say, let's move on to the that we already did that. So now let's talk Hollywood because the silence here is deafening. The reported deaths connected to the family of the legendary director Rob Reiner. You know him from A Few Good Men. You know him from Stand By Me. You might know him, cousin, from All in the Family as Meathead, right? And have
Mm-hmm.
raised serious questions. Yet Hollywood, normally loud, performative, and emotional, is very quiet. Reportedly, people in the same circle were at Conan O'Brien's, the former late night host. They were at his house for a holiday party. So
Mm.
an argument broke out with young Nick Reiner, Rob Reiner's son, and
Mm-hmm.
there were public confrontations, and he got into a fight with somebody. There were reports of a family conflict. Now they're being presented with a singular narrative: rage, drugs, and mental health. Now, like what you were saying, cousin, this might not be just that, right? You know, this might be, there's so many people and so many potential what do you call them, not witnesses, but potential people who may have did this crime, right? So there's
Mm-hmm.
so many people, everybody at that party should be looked at as a potential,
Exactly.
as a potential in there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we know that we don't know where Nick went after the party. We know that Rob Reiner and his wife left the party after the son had got into something. Now, part of me, now, if I give it a drug narrative, right, I would say that, okay, they're at the party, you know, everybody's getting drunk, drinking, whatever they're doing. Nick gets into a fight. His parents take the side of the other people. So then he
Mm-hmm.
gets into a fight with his parents. Say, you always taking somebody else's side and not taking my side. Getting very angry. So everybody, shut up, leave the party. Parents leave the party. He leaves the party. They go home. They have another argument. You know, he bodies them up. Now, this is right down the street from O.J. Simpson. So now
Mm.
we've got to look at this, you know, with a different pair of eyes, because just right down the street, something similar happened, right? Nicole Brown Simpson, right? Nicole Brown Simpson, she got killed, stabbed right down the street. So we know everything may not always be what it seemed in this Brentwood community. But now this happens to one of Hollywood's elite, and oops, I know you didn't put on the glove. If it doesn't fit, You must have quit. Okay, that was a good one. So, and that's a G check because now we've got to see what it is because is it innocent until proven guilty? Does that still matter? So we're hearing the defense is leaning towards mental health. Now he went to court today because he has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Okay. Now, Nick Reiner did not appear in court the other day because he wasn't mentally cleared. So now he appeared in court today. The cameras couldn't go on him, but he was in court. Okay. And so the question becomes, is this accountability or containment? Okay. So he hasn't put in the plea. They haven't put in the plea yet. So they're going to January 7th is when he'll put in his plea. Now he's got one of the top lawyers. They're trying to figure out where he's getting this money from, right, to pay for this top lawyer, or this top lawyer just taking it. But they didn't put in the plea. So they're not saying that he's guilty yet. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Okay. So he checked into a hotel with his own credit card, and that seems simple. But why would you do that if you just murdered your parents, right? They got him walking across the gas station with a little bag. He didn't look bloody, but drugs can make people do irrational things, or can they make them be vulnerable to manipulation? We've seen this movie before. The Menendez brothers taught us that family crime narratives are never as clean as they appear. And so I think we just need to take a different look. Let's get a G check on that.
Okay, the G check on that, Caso, it's just that white crime, that Hollywood white crime. It's a little weird with it, a lot of weird because you don't really know what goes on behind closed doors in this Hollywood world. So it could be, I'm always say, yeah, it could be drugs, it could be drinking. Drinking is real. If you drink too much, you become too sip Sally. And then when you become too sip Sally, this a G check, you out of control. Some people can't handle the mixed alcohol, the weed, the coke, you know what I mean? The drugs, the pills. So, yeah, his mind might have not been right, but we don't know what's going on. Hollywood is Hollywood is not Hollywood no more because shout out to the ATL, the black market been taking a lot, and it's like there's a lot behind it. It's the eye right now. You just got to sit back and watch that eye. The eye gonna bring it out. Trust me. And
And
that's a
so
G check.
what if he left, had friends over at the house, and then so now I see a chance, right, to go bust into the house. Right? They having this argument. It's easy depending on Nick. Nick has been talking about his drug addiction and trying to get right for years. So now and they're using everything against him. They are saying, you should hear everything that he has said about himself. His father even made a movie behind this. But I'm going to use one of Robert Reiner's, Jack Nicholson's A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. Now, that's the real thing. So we got to think about this before we just throw him away and say he did it. What else could have happened? A lot could have happened.
This the G check in Hollywood. And it's just like what goes on in the world of New York, around the world. A lot of friends see opportunities and see money. The greed is alive. They probably had friends that, they've been scheming on this for a long time and it just played out. The right time just hit. So it's just a matter of time for everything to come out because, people do talk.
Facts.
That's a G check.
That's a pure G check. Okay. Okay. Yep. I did it right now. Okay. So let's arrive at our guy, Donald J. Trump. Okay,
Mm,
so Trump had choice words for Robert Reiner in the
mm.
past, and he had harsh words this time. So there's a debate. Should the president always be graceful when someone dies, right? Should we hear, I'm sorry for the death. This is horrible to the American community. This is what he's done. Or is honesty patriotic too? So this is where Trump chose honesty, right? Is saying rest in peace required? Or is it honest to say someone had Trump derangement syndrome and was great in their time? And so now, do political fights die when people die? Or do they just get buried with them? These are uncomfortable questions, but leadership doesn't avoid discomfort. Where are you right now on this?
Well, the biggest G check on this, I really think the White House and the president should be worrying about lowering these prices and these healthcare and chasing trying to destroy the Obamacare and everything else. That's what they should be concerned on. They should, they could just say, rest in peace and such, but they worry about the wrong thing. This is your job to help the American people, but y'all out here destroying the American people every day. Every day you turn around. Look at America. You listen, by you just saying rest in peace to the young man, the young lady, and go do your job, people will love you. But you're not doing your job. You just worry about the wrong thing. That's not your
Well, all
job.
he did was say, "Listen," and then I had to look at what Trump, why he would say something like that. He said, oh, he suffered from Trump derangement syndrome. It's a shame he had good work in the past, but then I looked at the Rob Reiner. He had a lot to do with the Russian host. He went on a crusade against Trump. He was Trump, 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 Trump. Trump is a horrible man. He went as far as to say that I hate that man. So now, does Trump have to say, rest in peace, I love that man? Or does he get to say what he wants to say, right? That's where
This
people
this
are
this
torn
this is a
with
G
the
check.
American president and what the American president should be saying.
This is a G check. The president should just say rest in peace. Whatever went on between him and them, that's girl stuff. So he's alive. So now you alive. So now you're gonna spit on the man's name, talk down on the man because he's not here to defend himself. That just show you you're a coward, straight up.
Well,
That's a
and
G
that's,
check.
yes, and that's what the new American perspective is about, and most people feel that way. I go back and forth because, I think that, Trump just feels like, he might be a little narcissistic, and he feels like he can do whatever he wants to do. And we'll talk about that later, because his chief of staff, Wiley, said he's much like a drunken man. Trump said, I don't drink, but she said he's much like a drunken man. So before our next break, we're going to go into a little hip hop and culture, okay? Because this is where we're at now. So is hip hop telling on itself? Okay, let's talk hip hop, because the culture is in a moment of truth. 50 Cent is taking heat for producing and profiting from a Diddy documentary. And I think
Mhm,
you need to look at this too, because you know both 50 Cent and Diddy very well, right?
mhm,
So now you got two people that two
mhm,
people that you have, grown in this hip hop community with, and
mhm,
now 50 Cent is taking the heat for producing and profiting from the Diddy documentary. Some say he's cashing in, others say he's exposing what everyone whispered about for years.
mhm.
Dame Dash says, you don't tear another black man down. But here's the counter question: is exposing abuse, tearing someone down, or standing up for the people who were harmed? Okay? What do you think? Let's get a G check on this.
G check on this. Let's say this. You know what I mean? The way this industry is right now, where you say Puff, I mean, 50 did this, Puff, he did a documentary on Puff. let's just flip the table around. Just say it was 50. Will you think he would do that?
Puffy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick, fast,
Okay.
in a hurry.
So
Don't you?
yeah, but I don't think I call it tearing down. It's just that, listen, it's his turn. You know, you got to remember when you got skeletons in your closet, if you ain't got no skeleton in your closet, don't
You
fall
don't have nothing
down.
to worry about. So hold that thought real quick, cousin. We're going to go to a break and we're going to come back here on the New American Perspective. We're talking hip hop. We're talking Puffy. We're talking Diddy. I mean, we're talking Puffy. We're talking Diddy. We're talking both of them. And we're talking 50 Cent and everybody else right here on the New American Perspective on Millennium News 24. We'll be right back.
G-Check.
Welcome to Millennium News 24, your trusted source for accurate, unbiased news. We're here to bring you the stories that matter most from America and around the world with integrity and a commitment to truth. In today's world, where misinformation can easily spread, having access to reliable news is more important than ever. At Millennium News 24, we aim to cut through the noise by delivering clear, fact-based reporting. Whether you're following major events or looking for in-depth analysis, we are here to serve you with transparency and respect for all communities regardless of color, wealth, or religion. This beautiful America was built by the resilience of its people, immigrants, entrepreneurs, doctors, and everyday individuals working together to create something great. It's this spirit that inspires us to provide you with news that's inclusive, honest, and relevant. We believe that informed citizens are the foundation of a strong society, and we strive to give you the knowledge you need to make a difference. From breaking news to insightful features, we bring you comprehensive coverage on politics, economics, health, culture, and much more. We believe that everyone deserves access to the truth, and we are proud to be a part of a global network that connects people through information. Stay informed by following us on your devices, including iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, and Smart TVS. And for global access, we're also available on Horizon Satellite. Visit us at www.millenniumtv24.com or www.millenniumnews24.com to stay updated at Millennium News 24. Our mission is to promote unity, understanding, and progress in a rapidly changing world. Join us as we work to inspire positive action through the power of truth. Thank you for watching. Follow us, subscribe, and stay informed.
And we are back here on the New American Perspective. I'm your host, Jineea Butler, and that's my co-host,
A.B. Butler, back in the game entertainment. The G-Check.
gang in the house.
Yes.
And so now we were just talking about 50 Cent and his Diddy doc, The Reckoning, on Netflix. Now, he's set to make about $50 million off of that. Now, here's how I feel. I feel like, you know, Puffy insulted 50 and they said it was at Chris Lighty's wedding. Okay.
I wasn't there. I was locked up.
Okay. So he said that at the wedding, Puffy asked 50, "Do you want me to take you shopping?" Now think about this, cousin. If a man come up to you and say, "Do you want me to take you shopping?" Right? That's disrespect to some men.
Let me G-check this, right? If I'm on the same at the wedding, the same label, and we was cool like that, you know what I mean? It's like how you want to take it when somebody come and say, "Yo, yo, you hot right now, B. So let me dress you where, you know, people." And like I say, it's done every day. Somebody might say, "Yo," another female might say, "Jineea, you know, you doing this great news channel. Yo, I might got some clothes that make you look better."
I'm gonna feel some type of way. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna feel some type of way, but just because I got a little homophobe in me when it comes
Oh
to
yeah,
that.
no, no,
Here's
no.
what
But
people
what I'm
do.
saying is, you got to look at it this way, and I understand what 50 say because he looking at it this way and say, "Oh, Diddy, we heard things about you." You get where I'm coming from? So when he said that, he probably got offended. Like, huh? Take me shopping. I got my own money. I can take myself shopping. But
So you
once again, he just felt that he came at him the wrong way like that. Yeah, he took it personal.
Okay, so he took that personal. He had a
Hmm.
little vendetta with Diddy for a while,
Hmm.
throughout, and then he goes after his baby's mother, his child's mother. So Diddy starts dating his child's mother and makes her the quote unquote sex slave with Diddy, and she was all at the trial talking about her relationship. And so now as a man, you don't think now I'm not shoot 'em up bang bang anymore. I used to be shoot 'em up bang bang, right? So I'm not
Hmm.
shoot 'em up bang bang anymore. So I'm not going to kill you with a gun, but I'm gonna kill you with this camera. And I think that's the irony of what we see.
This is a G check right here. Let's say this, right? An older guy told me this a long time ago when I was a kid. No disrespect to no woman or no man. You got to remember this. A old man told me this. What a woman is sitting on, she own that, right?
Got it, but
Well, hold. Let
cousin,
me let me let me
be
let me G
real.
check. Let me G check this.
If
No,
you gonna
no,
G check it right.
no, no, no. I'm gonna check it real. You know what I mean? But I just feel that the industry with all these females, if you do like when I was on the tour with Heavy D, matter of fact, when I was on tour with Eric McCain from In Touch, then when I went on tour with Head before I went to college, it's like every city we went to, just say Eric B and Rakim came that week, the same broads is in the hotel. So at the
Okay.
end of the day, then the next month, you got LL and the boys.
But
So it's
what
the
are they
same.
there for? Are they there to have sex, or are they there to, you know, be
Listen,
amongst the energy? What are they there for?
listen. Okay, if you want to say they there for the energy, they already seen the show already, right? They seen the dudes in the lobby. But when you come to the room, 3 or 4 females, you know what they there for. They're not there just to conversate. If I'm the hot artist, you're not there to conversate. You there to like, yo, let's get busy.
I think that they're actually there because they think that maybe this will work.
Maybe what? Huh?
Maybe this will work.
Work like
Maybe
mm,
this will work. Maybe this
okay.
will get him to see me. I don't want him seeing any other these abroad. And I think that a lot of these women are manipulated, right? I think that a
Can I
lot of these women's their mentality coming in, the women that you see, they're like, well,
let's
yeah,
let's
and don't get
let's
me
let's
wrong.
let's
Don't get me
G
wrong.
check. Let's G check something real quick, right? Do the history on all the females that 50 dealt with, Puff dealt with, and go down the line of who they dealt with. You get where I'm coming from? It ain't like these young ladies was innocent women. You get where I'm coming from? Because if you go to the background of how many niggas they dated,
But
you'll
they're trying
understand
to
it.
get married, cousin.
Yeah. Okay.
Now
Okay.
they
I
are.
respect it. Yeah.
They
Okay.
are. They're trying to. They think that these guys are going to see the true them. That they're going to
Forever,
pop it
my
like it's hot.
lady.
They think right. They think they're going to pop it like it's hot, right? And catch a man and then go home. I know the whole thing. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife, right? And so that's what the mentality. But then this generation has done that, right? This generation, the generation of men I know, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, right? But if you change this up right now, this generation, yes, you can. The hoes are winning.
But
Okay.
guess what? Guess what? How long do it last? You know what I
It
mean?
lasts
it's
it lasts until
it,
the
it,
next one.
exactly. So it's basically like playing tennis. But back to the Diddy and the 50 situation, it's basically a battle. You know what I mean? Who got the bike? Who's the hottest? That's
Yep.
what it
So
is.
50 is trying to take the king position and move everybody out the way. But I
First of
must
all,
say,
it
cousin,
ain't trying. He already doing it. He
okay,
already
but I
taking the
must
position.
say the industry feels a lot more quieter. It feels like there's a lot more opportunity with Diddy out the way. That's how I feel about it. I feel like, hey,
Yeah.
look, people are looser. You don't have this villain, and we don't know. I
But
sometimes say
a G
the
check is why you feel Puff was a villain,
because he
and
might be a serial killer.
you got
He
so
might
many.
be a serial killer.
You got
I
listen.
just look at it and say we don't know. So I'm not
G check,
mad at
G
Diddy.
check, G check. You got so many females out here is worse than the dudes. You get what I'm
Doing
coming
what?
from?
Doing what?
Exactly. Exactly.
What are the females doing? The females are doing what the men tell them to do. And I
Really?
wish that we
Really?
could change. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, don't get me wrong. That
Okay.
some females are out to they setting people up from the door. And that's what you're trying to say. You're trying to say
I
that the
ain't trying to say
female will
nothing.
go in and set some stuff up. I'm not saying that they
No,
won't.
no, no. I didn't say that came from your mouth. You know
Well,
what I
I'm
mean?
just saying. I'm
I
saying.
didn't I didn't
I'm saying
say I ain't say nothing
I'm
about
G checking.
setup. I'm
And
just
some
saying
females will do that.
is if Puff y'all call him a demon, you got a bunch of these females that work out here is demons just like him. So yes, they just ain't come up yet. It's just
Mm.
you got to remember this. It's a clock. It's a clock. So a matter of time, everybody is not doing right, being selfish and thinking they gonna get away with everything. It's not gonna happen.
Well,
Of
that's
course,
what I'm saying. And so
exactly.
the rooster has come home to roost, right? So let's Marlon Wayans jumped into the conversation as
Shout
well.
out to Marvin. That's
They're
my guy.
calling out hypocrisy in how the industry chooses and when to have morals. Then
Mhm.
Jim Jones and his podcast stepped in, and 50 responds to him saying that he'll buy the building they're in, they're squatters, and half the podcast just to sit them down. Now, is that bullying? Now, we know that 50 is going to fight back. So is he bullying Jim and Mano and Marlon and everybody
This
for
is G
sitting him
check.
down for what
This
he
is
did?
G check. 50 is what you know. He's not going to change for nobody. So everybody acting that what 50 doing is new. 50 been doing this. So at the end of the day, if you don't understand 50, you don't understand hip hop. You
That's a
know,
good one. That's a G check.
that's a
So,
G
and
check.
then Mano, here's what I don't like. Now, I don't like Mano. Let me say this publicly. I do not like Mano because I gave Mano when he wasn't getting a whole bunch of money. Mano did an event for me in Brevoy in Brooklyn and
Mhm.
got him a couple of dollars. Now if Mano sees me, he says, I don't know you. So now the fact that, and I don't care about that, you don't know me and I put money in your pocket, my G. Okay, now I realize that he is ungrateful because he was the one, 50 was the one that put Mano on. So now how 50
No,
was the
no, hold
one
on. G
that
check, G check. Let's shout out.
50 got him
Hold on. G check. Let's shout out the big 80. 80 is the guy. That's my guy.
no.
80.
50 got him a deal.
But once
And
again, let's do it.
Mano said,
Let's do it
oh, you mean it
correctly.
wasn't 50's on
Let's do
50's
it
team?
correctly. Shout out to my man 80.
I don't know
80
80,
got 80 made that happen. So
but with
yeah, fifth
50,
just yeah. So yeah.
okay.
So
Okay,
yeah,
but
that's
what
what
I'm
yeah.
saying is Mano says to 50, I know that you hooked me up, but what's your problem? He jumped on his team side and said and jumped out. So I just think that Mano is ungrateful for that because I think like when Dave East said, I'm not gonna say nothing about the wave, and he just kept it G. I'm not gonna say nothing about Max B coming home because that's my people. Jim is my people too. I think that Mano should have took that route, but hey, he
But this
emptied the
is this
chat.
is a G check, cuz shout out to Mano, that's my man. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, yo, Mano, this is my cousin Jineea Butler.
No,
Um,
he can't. He can't never know me again. You know that, right? Because I got pictures with him, and I'm like, oh really? And we had it run in a couple times, and so you coming at me as a female now because I know you know who I am, and I know a couple things about you. I think that's why he don't know me. But whatever, because he
G
can't
check,
know me anymore. It's
G
good
check.
though. It's a G check. So we're gonna go to a break. Let me cool down a little bit. We're going to go to a break here on Millennium News 24, and we're going to come back in our last segment and break down much, much more here on here on the New American Perspective. We'll be right back.
G check.
Are back here on Millennium News 24. We're having a good old time today talking about the talk about. So I want to, before we close out on the 50 Cent Diddy piece, I want to shout out to 50 Cent because 50 Cent has been uplifting women and supporting women with his shows and everything. And I think that, pushing this agenda, pushing this a documentary was a good thing. And shout out to Hood Educated out there who, because he's talking about how Amano went on an apology tour about how he treated women. Dave East got arrested for beating a woman. Jim Jones and Chrissy, they have a they have a long whatever fiat marriage, whatever,
Shout out
whatever
to
they got
Christy.
going on. But Fabulous also had issues with women. So they're saying, if this man is beating up women, and then shout out to Charlemagne the God, because Charlemagne the God said, well, y'all talking about what 50 is doing to the black man, but did you see all those people that got harmed in Diddy's piece? Most of them were black. There was one white woman on the show. So we've got to look at that too. So shout out to him on that. You have any last on the Diddy doc, 50 doc?
Listen. Shout out to 50. Shout out to Puff. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna always say, I knew Puff when he was a kid, but on top of that, I can't not what he did because he came to the jail and did a show for me. He brought Biggie, Craig Mack, and Puff to do this hot show for me. And then I made history because he came to jail and put a show on for me. I put that together. I was a promoter and this and that. He brought Biggie, Craig Mack, and Puff. And in 1925, he's in the same jail he did the show. And then on top of that, I should be in the Guinness Book of World Record because I'm the only convict that ever pushed a count back. And when I say a count, I say it's always 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. You can never push no count back. The Washington would have never let that happen. But guess who did that? And the only one that ever did that in the system.
How do you know that you're the only one that did that, though, cousin?
Trust me, I'm the only one. I know that. You can look it up.
Where are we looking it up? Where are we going to look it up? I'm just saying.
No, is it? Listen.
You're not the only one. But
This a G check. This a G check. This a G check.
Go get the Guinness Book of World Records.
This a G check. This a G check. It's never been done. Never. Because listen, you can do your homework, cousin. Since you don't know,
I'm not going to
do your research, cousin. For your fan out there, the New American, go do your homework for them, and then the G check is going to be correctly G check. G check. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We gotta take a look. So let's move on. And the last thing are sex, power, and self exposure, are they telling before they're told on? Okay, so now things get a little uncomfortable, and that's where the truth usually lies. Ray J lets a video circulate making
Mm.
claims about Diddy that raise serious questions about physical harm. Joe Budden comes out and openly admits he's a voyeur. He enjoys watching other men with his partner. So we have to ask, are these confessions or these preemptive defenses? Are people telling on themselves now so no one else can later? This ties into the long-standing conversations in hip-hop about sexuality, power, and secrecy. We've heard the claims about African Bambaataa with Hassan Campbell, whispers that been buried because the music was too profitable. So what does this mean for the industry? Do we sweep it under the rug again, or is this a moment where real leadership steps back into the position and the real men step back out?
The G check is it's always been this way. It started from the light skinned people,
The light-skinned people.
the white people.
Uh, okay, give me more.
Yeah, it started from that. As a kid growing up, because for a man back in the days, they had Playboy magazine, they had Penthouse, they had Playboy. You understand? So this is what we seen. Then they had the freak channels. So this has been going on for so long. It's just that now we in power as a black community. The habits that the white folks created, it's just they just mad that we taking it to another level. It ain't no disrespect. That's just their habits. Cause they learned this from the TV, the magazines, and this and that. This is what it is. Cause at the end of the day, if you look at it, a man's dream was a threesome.
Mm.
The
Yeah, and now
threesome
they're
come
running
from,
around.
yeah, the threesome come from what you see in the peep shows. Back in 42nd, back in the days, you might be too young when I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
I am.
quarter, the slip a quarter in, you got this and that. Then you go to another room, you got this and that. This is where it came from. If you got the freak channels that you put on your cable, this is what you see. So at the end of the day, this is nothing new. But guess what? The black folks is doing it now. So let's charge them for it. That's a G
Okay.
check.
That's a G check. I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so let's go into back. Let's sway back into some politics in the economy because there is a health care problem going on. So let's shift to the policy because real people are about to feel real pain. The American Care provision is set to expire December 31st. That's in like 2 weeks, cousin. Okay. The
Mm.
House is nixed. They nixed the vote yesterday. So that means that it's going to expire. So that means millions of Americans are about to see their health care premiums rise. So why let this happen? Some Democrats want to blame Republicans, knowing that the plan was flawed from the beginning. But Republicans warned that it wouldn't work. Now they're preparing to introduce their alternative, but they're going to let the American people feel it. So it's more competition, cost controls, and state flexibility. But here's the truth. Both parties play politics with people's lives. And when policy fails, families pay the price.
This is
So,
a G check. This is a G check. I'm stopping you right there.
uh-huh.
Why? And I keep saying this over and over again. We need to do a G check bill for when these dudes don't do what they say, when they sit around, walking around trying to get elected, get in office. When they
Mm-hmm.
get in office, everything changed. The
Mm-hmm.
greed get bigger. So at the end of the day, why is we putting these people in office? Why is we keep letting people sit in office, be in office for so long? It's not for the people. It's for the greed. We need to get every last one of them people out of office. Let's figure a way how we need to change and
But
get
if
them
we had
people.
if we're being entertained, and see the same thing that you're talking about, what they're doing to us. If we're being entertained and we're not focusing on the day-to-days of what they're doing, we're not focusing on that. And when we go out on this Urban Reset tour, shout out to the Urban Reset tour with Rick Ross, we're going to hit the road and we will be in a
Hold
town
on. Correct
near
that.
you.
G-check.
Freeway,
Freeway Ricky Ross.
Freeway Ricky
Let's
Ross.
G-check that.
Yes, that's the
Let's
G
say it
check, not
correctly.
the other one, not the
Yeah.
other dude. Freeway Ricky Ross, the original. When we go out on the Urban Reset tour, and
Shout out to Trees Da
we can
Vinci.
talk to we could talk to the people about that. Okay. So let's start boiling down here, where we are now looking at the Urban Reset. Everything we talked about today connects. Silence in Hollywood, power games in hip hop, political theater in Washington, and truth delayed until damage is done. This is what happens when systems stop serving the people and start protecting themselves. The Urban Reset isn't about tearing anything down. It's about building something better with accountability, transparency, and leadership that doesn't run from hard conversations. Because when the culture collapses, when media lies, and when politics fails, the people don't disappear, they rebuild. And that's where we are. So we are going, so that's where we're at today, cousin. We've got so much more to talk about.
So let me G-check this. If you want to be involved, hit me up at AB Butler 914, or hit the boss up, Jineea Butler. And
At Jineea Butler on Instagram and all the stuff. And you can check us out on the Rewind and everything. And we're going to continue to grow here on the show. Where thank you to Millennium News 24 for all that we've been doing.
shout
And
out.
this is Jineea Butler. That's
This
my
is AB
co-host.
Butler, back in the game
And
entertainment.
and this is the G Check and the New American Perspective. And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Happy holidays.
Absolutely.